everyone. So, for the first episode in my series, I want to talk about the sun sign and the ascendant. As I have been on that journey trying to dive deeper into sun signs and rising signs and trying to examine exactly what the differences are, what the similarities are, how it manifests in people with different sun signs and rising signs or the same sun signs and rising signs. We have heard multiple times before how the sun sign represents your core identity, your belief system. In some cases, I've even heard people say that the sun sign represents your life purpose. Basically, the sun represents your core identity and your belief system. The sun sign serves as your life purpose, and it is what motivates all the other actions you take in life. All right. Now, your ascendant, on the other hand, your rising sign, represents your sense of self and your personality. Your ascendant or rising sign is how you choose to express yourself and implement the purpose brought about by the sun sign. All right. A very clear example of this. All right. I can't say it's an example. Um, can't say it's an example because I'm thinking of a specific person that I know in my life that I actually don't know their time of birth, right? But the way he just goes around fixing everything, everything that he comes across, I just have a really, really strong feeling that his rising sign is a Virgo. But obviously, as we meet people, the first thing that always comes up is I was born on certain date, and so I'm this sun sign, right? So this person is actually a Cancer sun sign. So that this is where I've seen mainly where that kind of difference between the sun sign and the rising sign come up. Now, if I'm right, I will post an update once I get the time of birth and we confirm his rising sign. If I'm right, and he is actually a Cancer sun sign with a Virgo rising, it could be a Capricorn rising. We'll see about that. Right. So if he's actually a Cancer sign with a Virgo rising, see, this person's personality is basically what do we know when we think about Cancers? They are the maternal signs. They nurture, they care for you, things like that. But this guy is as masculine as they get, right? So you don't see a lot of those Cancer traits come out in that. However, his characteristic of wanting to fix every small thing. I'll give you an example. I had a piece of luggage. The luggage was, factory setting, just the way I got it the moment I bought it. The wheels were, I mean, not really up to par. So he basically went ahead and ordered a new sturdy set of wheels, took off those shitty set of wheels, installed the new good set, right? And so now you can use this set of luggage and you'll be fine. The thing is, though, this is just one of the examples that that basically what I think the Virgo characteristic manifests as. There was luggage. What else? There's just things around the house that he thinks needs improving, like, if you just improve this minor thing. So what motivates him to do these things is actually to keep everyone around safe. That's where the Cancer sun sign comes in. Right. So your motivation, your life purpose is actually, what do we think of when we see Cancer? There's a soft interior, there's a hard exterior. You're basically building a fortress for your home. You're keeping everyone inside safe. So all of these so-called Virgo characteristics, or maybe Capricorn, because he's very hardworking in doing all of this step by step, is actually motivated by keeping himself and his loved ones safe, right? So this is the main difference of how we see the sun sign and the rising sign manifests. Let's get right into it. So when we look at Aries, all right, Aries is the igniting spark of a fire, right? If you were born under an Aries sun sign, what you value are actions or thoughts that are first of its kind. Like, that is, I think, what you would strive for to achieve in your life is to be a pioneer, right? To lead the way in all of your undertakings. If someone's already been there, done that, you're probably not going to bother much with it. If, however, you are born under some other sun sign, but Aries is your rising sign, all right, think about the characteristics and the characteristics that can act as a filter as to how your life purpose can come out. So the filter would be, you would be an independent person, you would be a natural born leader, you would be good at initiating new feats, igniting new ideas, right? Let's look at an example. Let's just say you are a Taurus sun sign, but with an Aries rising sign, right? You, again, as an Aries rising sign, you would be good at initiating new feats and igniting new ideas, right? But because your sun sign was in Aries, you're not really bothered with being a pioneer and being the first of your kind in anything you do, right? That would only be quite important to you if you are an Aries sun sign. Right, so this is what I see as how the differences between the sun sign and the rising sign manifests in your life. So that was Aries. Now we go into Taurus. Taurus is the sun. Okay, let's say you're born under a Taurus sun sign. Think of the thriving blooms of spring. Your core purpose is always trying to achieve beauty, comfort, and security, right? We hear this said a lot of times as well. Taurus is kind of like a beautiful garden. What do you do in a beautiful garden? You admire its beauty. It's comfortable. It's, ideally you would want to sit there permanently. That basically that's what Taurus would want to do anyway, right? However, Taurus isn't as a rising sign. Think of the traits that act as a filter. It could take a while for you to gain your momentum, but once you do, nothing can stop you from achieving your goals. All right. I would say the downside of Taurus, because it takes a while for you to gain your momentum, you can come across as lazy. You don't like your comfort. You don't really it can take you a while to get up and start doing things, but when you do, when you do start, just like I would say a bull in a china shop, you don't care what you get, what you knock over, you're thinking of your end goal, and that's what you're going to do. That's what you are as a Taurus rising sign. Now, when you're born with a Gemini sun sign, all right, Gemini is ruled by Mercury, which is the trickster in the sky. It is also the sign of the twins. You always have the other side of you. Your what you are basically motivated by is to find out what is on the other side of the coin. Whenever you talk to people, this is your life purpose, to learn every angle. And when you're having conversations with people, you like to know what's on the other side of the coin. Of course, the downside of this is that people may think you can come off as disingenuous because a lot of people appreciate you being solely on their side, but being a Gemini, you do appreciate both sides of the coin, right? Now, if you are a Gemini ascendant, all right, this is a very light-hearted sort of rising sign. Basically, how you express yourself is that you're just highly adaptable and agile. You will get along with various personalities, and you're very capable of engaging in interesting conversations with different types of connections. Right? You would be an extremely good conversationalist. If you were born under the sun sign of Cancer, your life purpose, right, is to create a nurturing and secure, your life purpose is to protect yourself and your loved ones, to keep everyone within your circle safe. It's not very different to Scorpio. It's very similar as well, except that Scorpio comes with a little bit of sting. All right. So how that manifests depends on your rising sign. All right. So if you have a Cancer rising sign instead, people who are not familiar with you may only see a hard exterior. All right. A hard exterior, the way crabs move, people may see you as fickle minded, moving side to side, you're not really sure where you want to go, what your direction is. But once people get to know you, they do realize that you are an extremely gentle and caring person to those closest to you. So if you are born as a Leo, what you value most are loyalty, honesty, honor, and integrity. Think of the king. What is important to the king? The king always wants his subjects to be loyal to him. The most noble type of king would want to carry out his duties with integrity and honor. This is so if you're born under the sun sign of the king of Leo, this is what you would value most. This is what would motivate you in everything that you do. This is your life purpose, right? But however, if you were born under any other sun sign and your rising sign or your ascendant is Leo instead, you will